We're here in Lowe's and we are trying to find all the materials necessary. What are we building? Do you remember?
A trellis?
Not a trellis. We are building hold on, I'll think of it in a second. We're building a cover for hold on a second, I'm gonna remember, I promise. What are we gonna build, Kenzie? A mantle. We're building a mantle. Yes, that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. So I'm gonna get all the materials necessary for Mama's mantle, and it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. It's gonna look really cool whenever we get done with it as well. You okay? All right, well, it is the 4th of July, so
We're gonna work.
we are going to work, indeed.
I have a to-do list.
So one of the things on the to-do list is,
We're gonna attempt to build a mantle.
and by we,
We mean him.
me.
This should really scare people that know me. I'm gonna use this. Basically, I'm just getting my steps in for the day.
Are you going to swing that?
Yep.
On the list of things not to do, ER.
But the long-term goal is a for sale sign in the front yard.
Indeed. Indeed. So we're in the process of trying to spruce up the house, but we're doing it with some pine wood.
That was funny. And they're playing in the pool.
If you couldn't hear. We're going to be building a mantelpiece that slides over the top of our existing mantle. That way we can give it sort of a farmhouse-esque type of look. This is what our mantle looks like now. And hopefully the finished product will be 150 times better.
Next up is the green tile.
Yeah, we got to eliminate the green tile. And we've got some creative solutions in order to take care of that. So, well, let's go ahead and get this project started and our 4th of July off with a bang. I did it again. So I'm sure you've heard the saying before, measure twice and cut once. Mine, it's like measure 4 or 5 times and then finally cut when you're absolutely sure. So we got all of our measurements for this project, and then we marked up our wood and began making our cuts. Had to rip the front part because it's not as thick as the other one. Also take a break for lunch. Since it is 4th of July, we had some hamburgers, and the kids continued swimming in the pool for like 8 hours. The other adjustment that we needed to make is I don't have a skill saw. So I had to make a bunch of cuts like this and then lower the blade down. And after I lowered the blade down, then I was able to groove it in such a way to finally be able to get it to where I could get that insert cut like you see right there. And this is the test fit, just to make sure that it fit nicely. And as you can see, it's a nice, tight fit. Exactly where we wanted to be, about 9 inches deep, and that's exactly what we wanted to have happen. So we took our orbital sander and sanded this bad boy down, got it nice and smooth. At that point in time, after we got it sanded down, began to take the pocket drill and to cut drill out my pocket holes. So that it makes it so much easier. If you don't have one of these things, I would encourage you, go out and get one. It makes it so much easier whenever you're assembling a project to have that pocket drill. That way you can just get those things nice and tight in there, and you don't have to worry about splitting the wood. So there's what it looks like without anything else done to it. It's assembled, but that's not enough. So we wanted to take some wood putty, fill in the gaps right there. We wanted it to look nice and clean, almost like a solid piece of wood that was going over everything. So there it is with the wood putty on there and the wood putty not sanded. So now we got to go through the arduous process of sanding that puppy down, getting it nice and smooth. Don't forget your edges. Man, that makes all the difference in the world. You get those edges of the wood. You want to make sure to round those edges out to make it really look finished. That makes a big difference. It's so clean and neat now. It's amazing. That wood putty makes a big difference. So there's our test fit to make sure that everything's fit properly. And now we're going to rough this thing up. I took my belt sander and ran it down there with some heavy, I think it's like 80 grit sandpaper. I took some hammers, a couple of nails, I took a chisel, pounded in there around the edges. I even took a chain and just whipped the mess out of this piece of wood. We decided to use the dark walnut for the areas right around those knots, and that was kind of a learning thing for me, but I really wanted to achieve that look of right around the knots, and to have a darker, richer color that existed. Then we took the mission oak and then we used the rest of that color to cover the rest of the wood. You can see where we've knocked it up and banged it in and all of the kind of stuff right in those areas, how you take that that stain and it just accentuates those marks, which is exactly what we want to see happen. You can almost see the grooves right there from where we took the belt sander. You can really see it in here where you can see where that belt sander scraped the wood, which is exactly the look that we were going for. Just took some clear, fast drying polyurethane, gave it a good spray down, and then it was all set and good to go. Let it dry for 24 hours and then slid it into place. It was such a tight fit, there was no need to put any screws in it. It is solid in there, and I think it turned out pretty well. Pretty good project. What we'll do is we'll put the build notes in there so that you can see, maybe you can adapt it to the fit that you might need, but I think it turned out pretty well. We're pleased with how it looks. So thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the little bell down there at the bottom. That way you'll be notified anytime any of our future videos go up. Thanks and have a great day.